All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name's Eric Paulzine with 905 Sports. Going to be getting into the Monday Night Football Showdown picks, and I got some bets for you guys as well. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. It's the last game of Week 1, Monday Night Football, and guys, I do appreciate all the support that we've been having. Keep it up, guys. We are going to grow this channel. We're going to continue to grow it. Like and subscribe. That helps out the channel a lot. But Monday Night Football game, the return of Russell Wilson. I mean, not really, because like this is the first game of the season. It's probably going to feel like a home game for Russell Wilson. So that is an interesting side of it. Obviously, Noah Fant was part of that Russell Wilson trade, so he's playing in his first game versus his former teammate as well. So yeah, let's just get right into it, guys. So looking at just a quick game preview for this, the game over and under is set at 43.5, and the Broncos are favored to win by 7 points. And, you know, that probably makes sense. Obviously, Russell Wilson, the longtime Seattle Seahawks quarterback, he's finally in Denver, and for the longest time, it somewhat seemed like the Denver Broncos were just a quarterback away from like greatness, from potentially winning a Super Bowl or, you know, having those Super Bowl aspirations. Replacing Russell Wilson is Geno Smith, who replaced him a little bit last year while he was injured. You know, Geno actually looked pretty good last year, but in the preseason this year, he kind of defaulted back to the Geno we've all come to know throughout the year. So, you know, just how well Geno Smith plays tonight will really dictate whether this game stays close or not. Okay. We'll see. I'm not too excited about that, but, you know, just to break this slate off, I'm going to start off with the Denver Broncos. So looking at the Denver Broncos, we know that the Seattle Seahawks last year had very poor like pressure, whether that was in the run game or the pass game. They just couldn't apply that much pressure. So someone like Russell Wilson, you know, given the motivation and kind of just given the matchup, he should easily be able to hit value at this price point. Not value, but he should easily smash in this game. Like, I just don't see him not dominating in this game, kind of with that extra motivation. I talked about how like Baker Mayfield had kind of basically sucked in a decent amount of games in his revenge games. I really don't expect Wilson to do that. I expect him to rise to the occasion. Okay, I expect him to kind of just dominate in this one. But Russell Wilson, I think he's going to smash. And there's a bet out there that I like with him, over 256 passing yards at -110. Like, I think he'll be able to do that. Like, the weakness for this team, it's kind of everywhere. It's in the run D, and it's also in the fact that they don't really get pressure. So I do expect like Sutton to have a big game in this one, and then kind of figuring out who else is going to have that big game. Maybe they just don't need Wilson to throw that many passing yards, and that could be the reason why he doesn't hit that over there. But for DFS purposes, I think he makes a lot of sense, and I think you can easily fit him into your captain spot, and I'll go into why. So this slate is really going to come down to really Javonte Williams or Melvin Gordon to me. And the potential for it to kind of be like the Lions, I guess, if you will, or somewhat of the Cleveland Browns, where Javonte Williams kind of does the work to get them to the goal line, and they just want fresh legs in there, and then Melvin Gordon falls into the end zone. I could easily see that happening. Reports have kind of been coming out lately that Melvin Gordon might not be in as a reduced role as we kind of all thought he would be at the start of the year. When those training camp reports are coming out, it might just still be like a 55-65 split, or, you know, something like that. Like, Melvin Gordon is still going to get some touches, and I could see the path where, you know, he gets like 2 red zone touchdowns or something like that. But like, that doesn't mean that Javonte Williams isn't going to have a good game. I think they both can eat. Okay, it's just which one is going to score the touchdown. We don't know that just yet. Obviously, everyone's excited for Javonte Williams. He could easily smash in the spot. He could easily go for 20 DK points, but at the same time, I could see Melvin Gordon falling in the end zone twice for, you know, 15 DK points as well. I kind of would just suggest like kind of splitting your exposure to them, you know, both ways. And really where the big plays on the slate come, I think, are going to be at the receiver spot. So Courtland Sutton, I'm just kind of going to put into a lot of my builds. He's expected to step up. I kind of mentioned with the Denver Broncos for a while, it was we're one quarterback away from greatness. And that was kind of the same thing with Courtland Sutton, where everyone saw the talent there. Okay. And it was just frustrating because all he needed was a quarterback to like really unlock that talent. And well, we're going to see if that's true. Okay. He finally has Russell Wilson, and I kind of expect him to be targeted a decent amount. He reminds me a lot of kind of like Michael Pittman, in the sense that people were very excited to get Matt Ryan in there, kind of a more consistent quarterback, so that Michael Pittman could finally shine through completely. That's kind of how I feel about Courtland Sutton. So for me, like, Russell Wilson and Courtland Sutton are basically must plays on the slate. I don't love Jerry Jeudy. Like, if you end up on Jerry Jeudy, I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, I'm not going to hate on you for, you know, playing him. He'll probably be able to get like 10 DK points in this one. Like, I'm fine with it. Could he be in the winning GPP lineup? He could. That isn't within the realm of possibilities. I'm just not going crazy with it. The Denver Broncos going against the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I think you can firmly put them in play, and you guys will figure out why once I get into the Seahawks side of the ball. I do want to talk about Albert O, because for some reason or other, The Broncos just did not seem to like Albert O this preseason. I don't really know what it was, but he was playing a lot in preseason games. It kind of seemed like they wanted to make Greg Dulcich a thing as well. Like, it just wouldn't be shocking to me if Albert O doesn't have as big as a role as we all kind of thought. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like maybe like someone like Andrew Beck, who the coaches seem to really like. He's like the fullback tight end there in that offense. Like, I'm not expecting big things from Beck, okay, but like if Albert O struggles, I think it'd be because they're just getting Beck on the field a little bit more and Albert O is not playing as much. Now, I'm not saying go crazy with that or anything. Like, you don't have to play Beck in DFS tonight, but like it could be a reason why Albert O struggles. And at that price point, I'm just not willing to take that risk. KJ Hamler is basically the exact same play as Isaiah McKenzie to me for that Thursday night football game, where if he plays, yeah, we're just going to play him at 4.4. That's a good price point for him. He's a guy that's been getting talked up a decent amount this offseason. I expect him to get a decent amount of receptions if he does play. We need to get confirmation that he does play. If he does sit, though, this is where we get some pretty good value. Montreal Washington, I think it was a 5th round rookie out of, I don't know, they're a navy blue and white team. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head. Darn it. I apologize, get there. But he's listed as their 4th receiver. He's kind of KJ Hamler's backup. He is a return man. He's a short, like, dynamic receiver. You know, he's one of those quick twitch receivers. Obviously, he's a returner, so they like his playmaking abilities as well. Like, he is someone that I think could get involved in the offense slightly. Like, not that much, maybe 2 catches and maybe like a rush, you know, like nothing crazy. But at $200, if KJ Hamler sits, that is intriguing to me. If you're trying to afford to fit in all the studs, like, you could easily fit him in there, and all he needs is 1 catch to hit value. Okay. Not something to go crazy with, but I think it's in the realm of possibilities for him to, you know, make a splash. But like, don't go crazy with it. Could happen if KJ Hamler sits. Getting into the Seahawks side of the ball, I don't really want to play Geno Smith, to be honest with you guys. Like, he did really struggle in the preseason, and in a quarterback competition, like, I kind of expect him to struggle once again. We saw him like last year, like, he didn't look terrible. Like, he was a game manager last year. The DK points were not there, though. Okay. And I don't expect those DK points to be here in this one. Like, he went against 3 really solid defenses last year and 1 terrible defense and was able to score 20 DK points against them. That was partially due to that rushing touchdown against Jacksonville. Now, the Denver Broncos should on paper be a good defense. So like, I want to play the Broncos defense. I don't want to play Geno Smith. I expect him to struggle. And part of the reason why I expect him to struggle is I think Patrick Surtain is going to be against DK Metcalf, who Surtain like did really well last year. I think he had like a 51% completion rate and like a 61% passer rating, you know, when a quarterback targeted him or a receiver that he was guarding. So like, maybe DK Metcalf kind of gets contained. You know, I don't think he's going to be shut down, but maybe he gets contained. And because of that, I actually don't mind Tyler Lockett. I see him just making a big play in this one as well. And, you know, down the stretch of the season last year, he actually played pretty well. He only had 1 bad game against the Chicago Bears, you know, was able to produce there. And you look at that, a couple of those games with Geno Smith, he had, you know, that big splash game against Jacksonville. Other than that, against those tough matches, didn't really dominate, but he had 10, 7, 13 targets, and against New Orleans, he had 3. So the targets should be there for him once again in this one. It's just whether or not Geno Smith can get him the ball. I kind of like his chances to make, you know, 1 big deep play. Talking about Rashad Penny and kind of the rest of the running backs, I sort of like betting Rashad Penny to get under 15.5 rushing attempts. And that just comes down to game script. Okay. We saw last year he got used a lot. He ran the ball a lot. And if they are able to establish the run, they can compete in this game. And that's really kind of where I think a lot of your DFS lineup decisions come down to. It's like, do you think the Seahawks are going to be able to compete in this game? If you do, Rashad Penny is the play that you want to go with, because he absolutely lit it up last year. And because the games were able to stay close, he was rushing the ball a lot. Okay. If the game does not stay close, then I think you just have to lock in Travis Homer, who he's currently listed as the running back number 3 in this offense behind Kenneth Walker, who's RB2. I don't expect Kenneth Walker to play. And even if Kenneth Walker did play, I would still expect Travis Homer to be the, you know, passing down back. Now, last year, they didn't really need to use him when he was healthy in the passing down role, because Rashad Penny at the end of the season last year just caught a ton of carries, kept the team in it. If you think that the Denver Broncos are actually going to be winning in this one by a decent amount, Travis Homer, I think, would be that play. I see him getting about 4 to like 7 targets in this one. If they are playing from behind, that's the big if. And if that happens, then he should be able to get like 5 to 6 DK points, you know, a couple of dump off passes there. Travis Homer is most likely their 3rd down running back. So yeah, I don't mind him at 1.4 as a pretty strong price point for him. And then from there, like, I don't mind Noah Fant. I do think he's going to be a focal point of this offense. And another bet that I actually really like is Noah Fant getting over 2.5 receptions at -140. Last year, sure, he was with the Denver Broncos, but last year he had over 2.5 receptions in 13 out of 16 games. I don't really think his roll or snap percentage or anything like that is really going to change. It actually might be emphasized a little bit more with the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's going to be a big weapon for this offense. So that is a bet that I really like. And I could see him having like a solid like 10 DK point day in this game. Like, he is more or less a shoulder shrug play. Like, if I end up on him, I end up on him and I feel fine with it. But that's in the realm of possibilities there from Noah Fant. And then just real quickly, another value play that I like is D. Eskridge. And this is mostly just due to the fact that PD Sunshine, PD Carroll keeps talking him up. So I do think it's in the realm of possibilities for Eskridge to get 3 targets, 6 DK points or something. Obviously, at this price point, you can make that work. And so it really just comes down to, like, where are you trying to fit in the studs? Like, which studs are you going out of your way to play? And so really, I think you could easily fit in DK Metcalf if you guys wanted to, especially if you're playing the Denver Broncos. Do you want to fit Javonte Williams in there? Well, then you kind of have to think about where you'd want to go with that. You could easily pay down from Travis Homer and then go with one of those value plays that I mentioned. Wish we could get D. Eskridge in there, but maybe you go with Washington if, let's just say, KJ Hamler sits. Or you could go Sutton in the captain spot because I really like him. You go that, and then Russell Wilson, then you got a decent amount left over, and then you can fit in Travis Homer. Kind of mix and match Melvin Gordon in there. I am favoring the Denver Broncos a little bit more, but maybe you want to get Metcalf in there as well. Maybe you think 10 DK points for Metcalf, 10 DK points for Lockett, and like you're good with that. Let's see if we can make that work just real quick. No, I don't think. Yeah, I definitely want Courtland Sutton in there. So yeah, we probably wouldn't be able to make that. You'd have to go with some sort of value in there. Maybe let's just take Lockett out. I want to try this, just see if we can. Maybe Travis Homer, captain, cheap captain, trying to fit all the studs in there, and it still doesn't really work too much. You can still fit in Lockett in there, but that's okay. Like, I don't love it. That's okay. Could work. Not something I'm going crazy with. But that's all I have for you guys for this Monday Night Football Showdown slate. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing.